Which influencer managed to grow his following to 1 million subscribers within 9 months of starting out? In this video, that's one of the things I talk about. Welcome back to another Warna Weekly, this time episode 5. Every week on these videos, I bring you one brand or product, one phone habit, so something to do with social media or a popular app we're downloading, and one influencer, one person doing well in their respective niche or industry. My aim is to help you to think about how attention is shifting in today's world, both online and off, and help you to discover new brands, behaviors, and people that you might not come across elsewhere. There's obviously so much choice nowadays, so what are we choosing to spend our money on? These are of course my own views, so please don't think I'm talking on behalf of multiple generations, and if you even discover one new thing in this video, then I'm happy. Anyway, let's get on with it. So for section 1 this week, I'm talking about a brand called Fashion Over. Fashion Over is a cheap fast fashion clothing label aimed at 16 to 35-year-olds with about 1,000 new styles every single week. It caters to all shapes and sizes and puts a spotlight on curvier girls with a lot of styles to highlight their features. The brand releases tight-fitting styles with names like Curves for Days, which a lot of people might argue plays into the body positivity movement. Fashion Over has actually been around since 2006, but it's only really exploded in the last few years, especially on social media. And the CEO said that in 2017, the brand grew by 600%. But what do they do differently to your everyday fast fashion label? Well, they really understand attention culture, but not just from the sense that we are all on social media. What they also understand is that a lot of us want attention ourselves. So to play on this attention culture, the brand uses its consumers as much as it does its own models, and it reposts people's images about 30 times a week. They've created the Nova Babes, who are the army of ambassadors that all fans of the brand aspire to become. If you're a Nova Babe, you know you'll get rewarded in clothing discounts and prizes like photo shoots and exciting trips, but most importantly, you know you'll get higher follower numbers. And considering more and more people are wanting to become influencers as a fully fledged career, gaining higher follower numbers is definitely as legitimate a prize as tangible goods like clothing. So Fashion Nova knows how to incentivize its consumers and its brand ambassadors. You get restaurants nowadays creating Instagrammable meals, well these are Instagrammable clothes. But ultimately Fashion Nova knows its aesthetic, it knows its consumers want cheap fashion, inclusive sizing, and they want to feel confident in their skin, and that's exactly what it gives them. For section 2 this week, I'm talking about Ariana Grande's upcoming album release, Sweetener, which isn't the kind of thing that would usually go in this section, but it is very relevant to social media, which is why I've put it here. As a quick background on Ariana Grande, in case you haven't heard of her, she's a 25-year-old singer and actress who started out on Broadway and then moved to act in Nickelodeon shows before moving on to music. And she's now a multi-platinum selling artist with over 18 billion streams. And the reason I'm talking about her now is because this Friday, August 17th, she's releasing her new album, Sweetener, which she built anticipation for pretty much through social media on Instagram. Instead of using just her personal account, she set up the specific handle @Sweetener to release details about the album through cryptic captions, through countdowns, all to create tension. What you'll see when you go onto the Instagram feed is that she's using what a lot of people call a puzzle format, which is basically like 9 to 15 photos, each individually coming together to create a bigger narrative or picture. It takes a lot of planning. It can look a little bit weird if you're having random photos one by one, but when it does come together, it can look pretty cool. But she's not only using the feed, she's also using Instagram stories to reveal some of her merchandise that she's releasing, to talk about song names, and also to add to the countdown. More and more artists seem to be doing this on social media. Another good example is Taylor Swift's Reputation. What Taylor Swift did was, although she didn't have a designated handle, she deleted every single photo from her personal account, and then she just started posting really weird like snake videos, which if you're a Taylor Swift fan, you'll know is extremely relevant to the content of her songs. It was genius. Anyway, the point is these modern artists are showing that the music industry can catch up with what's going on social media. They can use stuff like Instagram as a legitimate tool to release albums. For section 3 this week, I'm talking about a YouTuber, an influencer called McKinnon, who probably wouldn't want to be called an influencer, but would much rather be known for being a master of his craft, which is photography and cinematography. Now, if you go onto YouTube, you'll see that there are a lot of accounts dedicated to photography. Some of the ones that come to mind are Mango Street and Chris Howe. Both are really good, both highly recommend. But the reason I'm talking about Peter McKinnon is because he's known as one of the fastest growers on the platform. He gained his first million within 9 months of starting out, and he started out pretty late, just a couple of years ago, and within 2 years, he's now on something like 2.3 million subscribers. So unlike a lot of YouTubers who have been building followings for something like 10 years, Peter McKinnon shows that it is still possible to do it relatively quickly if you know your craft and if you provide value. Firstly, he's very focused. When he started out, he was doing things like vlogs, there was no structure, it was all very sporadic. But then he decided to switch it up and focus solely on photography and cinematography. And now when you go onto his videos, you know exactly what you're gonna get. Secondly, the quality is amazing. It's in 4K video most of the time. The transitions, the effects, the audio is all on point, and that makes for a seamless experience. Thirdly, he's consistent. He posts videos every single week. He has different themes for different days, and if he ever does miss a day, then he gives you an extra one to make up for it. Fourth, collaborations. Just last week, he did a collaboration with the very popular YouTube magician, Zach King, and these might be two that you wouldn't normally put together, but collaborations do very well in the YouTube community. And last but most importantly, the value and the education side of it. He teaches everyone new skills, it's easy to understand in his own style and format, so it doesn't matter whether you're a beginner or an expert, it's for everyone. And he's also very likable, so he'll include stories about him being a father when he's trying to teach us, which means we get to know a different side of his personality as well. So that brings me to the end of this week's Warna Weekly, and I hope you found it valuable. I hope you'll take this information and go and explore it for yourself. Please do give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please do share if you think someone else might be interested. If you like these video updates every Tuesday, you can follow me on LinkedIn, you can subscribe on YouTube, and you can leave comments and questions below. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you download Ariana Grande's album on Friday. It's a banger, and I will see you next week.